When you're going through a rough period with symptoms that you're not used to, or it's been a long period where you haven't felt your best, it's very easy to lose perspective, to lose sight of the wider picture. And that's why I'm making this video, because as I was lying down in despair, trying to have a nap, because that seems to be the only thing that helps these days, it suddenly hit me that this is not the worst that I've been, far from it. And it's important to remind oneself of these things. Try to look back and tell oneself that this is not the worst. What hit me as I was trying to sleep was how I was feeling 2 years ago, when I had been recently diagnosed and everything was very new to me, and I was just starting to discover my body and pay attention to the symptoms with a new way of understanding them. There was one thing in particular that was very present at the time. So I was living in California at the time. I was spending 3 months there to take some time off from everything. So there was a lot of walking involved, uphill and downhill. So it became a rule that after a long day of touristing around, my foot, on the way back home, my foot would start sagging. I would get a drop foot. And every time on my way back home, my boyfriend had to literally carry me on one side, on the side where my foot was dropping. So when I came back to Denmark, the first thing I did was get myself an AFO, ankle foot orthopedic, I think it's called. And I meant it. I got one made for me. And these things are not cheap. I used it for a while, just to prevent it happening again, especially if I was walking alone. I didn't want to be left to my own devices with a dropping foot. I even went as far as getting myself a cane and always carrying the cane in my bag in case it would be necessary, and in case my boyfriend wouldn't be there to carry me. Luckily, I never used the cane. It was one of these foldy canes that I could put in my bag. I never used it, but I had it there for prevention, just in case. And then all of a sudden, it just went away. All of a sudden I was able to walk long distances without it really acting up. It's now a year and a half since it happened last. So what I struggle to remember is that things have actually been worse than they are now. And this that I'm experiencing now, this dizziness, this tiredness, is nothing compared to what it felt like being unable to walk. And it's mostly about reminding myself to not lose perspective, not lose sight of the wider picture. It's tough, and of course it's tough, but you know, there have been worse times, and there will be better times, and there will be bad times as well. So right now it's a bad time, maybe, but compared to what it's been like a bad time previously, this is nothing. So hold on and keep a positive attitude, right? And drink lots of coffee if it's necessary. That always helps. Downed it. All right. Bye.